before I get on a plane, head back home. I am feeling a little bit homesick, but part of me doesn't want to leave my truck here with you people.
We've got a trip planned.
Yeah.
Skulk and Paul are going to be building it for me. So they're showing me now what they have in mind, and we're discussing some of the details. So join us. I'm Andrew St Pierre White, explorer, overlander and broadcaster with over 40 years driving 4x4s in association with the Overland Workshop, online training for overlanders.
Well, I think the idea really was to showcase what has been made here in South Africa. And a good while ago, Skulk and I sat down and I said to him, let's take 30 years of experience from my side and let's take your engineering ability and what you created, and let's build a Troopy and design something that really would work from what we thought we could give people to live out of. So some of the products you can't see at the moment, which we will show you before you go, are the water tanks. So
oh no, that you've told me about the water tank. I'm very, very so don't jump the gun.
You can't take them to a stupid.
No, right. They're telling me not to. I can't take them to Perth because a few things I've seen on this car that I actually want for my Australian Troopy.
That's the problem.
Okay, so, but the principle that the mission. The mission is I want to be able to sleep in the back here, one person sleep in the back, two people, I'll carry a separate tent.
Yeah.
So this configuration you have here, which we will probably show in detail later when you're building it, but it is so versatile, I love it. Okay. Secondly, in the back here, you've got so many ways to pack things. The thing with the troop carrier, the weaknesses of the troop carrier is access, and now having stuff here
I'll show
in
you
this piece of real estate
all accessible,
is fantastic.
So I guess this well, we call this our coffee station, but you could have it packed in a way with anything that you want to use. Maybe you would use maybe more camera chargers or whatever fitted here. This client, we have a coffee station with a jet boil. So the idea is quickly open up next to the road, get your jet boil going, have a coffee. Bit of slide out, extra space. As you said, I think the whole idea of this section is the accessibility that is so nice. You know, you want to quickly open up a drawer and get to what you want.
The point is that I might not have my coffee station there, but that doesn't matter because that is really useful real estate.
Space, yeah.
It's fantastically useful space. I love the fact you've got a cutting board there. That I do like very, very much. And it's nicely made.
And again, this is very unused space. You know, your wheel comes to the top there. So the space you might as well use it.
Absolutely.
And to create
Likewise,
bags and stuff that can go on here.
My current door in my Australia Troopy is a mess. I haven't done anything with it. I have some ideas. And now I have even more ideas.
We thought that would be the case.
It's interesting. All the clients have different stuff they fit there.
Yes.
We don't have one client that is fitted, or two clients that have fitted the same stuff there. They've got their own thing, and I think that's what's nice about the multi-plate system. It's really customizable to what you want to fit there.
Yes, absolutely.
So what we originally looked at was not to try and custom build each vehicle totally differently.
Yeah.
Because the big problem you have with that is you can't test it, and we spoke about this.
Yeah.
So all these units have been pretty much standardized, with a few exceptions of one or two options that you've got with this sort of setup here.
Yeah.
And I think that gives a little bit of flexibility to personalize your vehicle. Like you said, you've got certain things
I'm already personalizing it right now. I'm sitting here literally right now saying, oh, okay, well, my solar blanket can go in there, and my how tripod, will it fit in there? How long is that? That's what my mind is now doing. Okay, and I can see immediately my camera equipment will fit absolutely perfectly in those two drawers.
Yeah.
Okay, I can access it from inside and I can access it from outside, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your priority, because
that's my priority.
You're putting your food further in. Now, some people would have food here because it's their kitchen. But you access your camera gear before he thinks of cooking.
Then he has his camera out.
Oh, absolutely. Stop, open, camera out, look around, get some shots, come back and say, am I hungry or not? That's my process. Yeah. So I'm looking at this and I'm looking at access. The fact that you are going to do this, the sleep one bed sleeper, which is already fantastic. I can see a pretty standard design. Is this pretty standard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see it working. I honestly can see it working. what's very important for me is a hot shower that's really quick and easy.
Yeah.
And that's why we developed the water hub.
Yeah.
Very quick and easy. The water heater that you use, not the same as the one I use, so we need to talk about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And make sure it functions the way I want it to. Apart from that, fridge, center console fridge.
Well, in this one we haven't got the electrical box in,
Yeah.
so if you look down the aisle
Yeah, sure.
of this
The
one and the
electrical
other one,
boxes,
we're
yes.
going to show you the electrical box
Okay.
and how that looks.
Okay.
So the idea really is utilizing as much space that you can put stuff that you can get to. And as you
Yeah.
said it, the Troopy lacks access. You've got 2 doors at the back and 1 at the front each. So the more stuff you can have a home for, and I've always said, think about what gear you're taking, where it's going to go. And you're already doing that because you know how you use your truck.
Yeah.
For those people who don't know how to use a truck, it's really important to go, what gear do I need to take? How do I use that equipment and where am I going to pack it? And then they've got a much clearer idea. So what we've taken, we've basically given all the equipment pretty much a home where you think you could put it in this design. So spares, repairs, recovery, toolkit, wheel change, just as an example, is a bag we have custom made which sits behind the driver's seat. It has the jack, the wheel spanner,
We'll get to that. That's
all that.
fantastic.
It's just access to
That's
get
fantastic.
it. So little things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the electrical box, which is, of course, that's between the seats. So the seat's sitting like that.
Yeah.
That's the electrical box.
The whole idea was to reduce the complexity of wiring a vehicle up. Every time you wire a vehicle up, it basically takes a lot of time and effort. To the point that Skulk has developed a wiring loom and wired everything up so that it all has a plan. It's all got a diagram. It's all been built into a box. So putting this in and out of the car, simple.
Moderately easy. And then the cables
Well,
that come
you've got a
in
few
from
plugs.
all of the...
Yeah,
With
so
a few plugs.
so we've got a wiring loom in.
So you've got a wiring loom, and it just plugs into those.
All of that just plugs in now.
Interesting. And then the wiring loom runs to all the lights.
All
and
the
there's a standard
lights,
setting
all
of
the
lights and things.
USBs, all the 12-volt sockets that you have, and it's all standard. We can add maybe a few, but all of that is standard and wired into each separate fuse. So you've got your USBs on a fuse line, you've got your 12-volt sockets on a fuse line,
Right.
you've got the LEDs on a separate
Inverter.
line.
Right. So the question is that what is running my system is the Servo GX, which is Vectron.
Yeah,
All Victron.
That's an AC charger, I assume.
yeah,
30 amp DC-DC,
yeah.
30 amp MPPT solar,
800 watt inverter.
800 watt inverter. Can't take a bigger inverter.
It's possible.
It's
but
possible. I think the dimensions of the box would then just grow a bit. It's going to
Slightly
be
longer.
a bit longer and taller.
I'd like to test your standard rig. That's the idea of this.
So most
So-
most of the time we're finding with inverters, people are not actually utilizing the inverters.
But I know exactly what I use my inverter for.
Yeah, you have a specific need.
Yes, I do.
So
And that is a toaster,
Okay.
small toaster, 700 watts.
Oh, well, then we are maxed on this one.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
we're
we need
maxed.
to- yeah,
We're
yeah,
maxed.
it needs
But
to-
I'll never run the toaster and the coffee machine.
No, together.
So I've got those little Nespresso things,
Yeah.
and I'm not actually sure how many watts they are running together, the milk thing, but it's probably about 600-700, I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Yeah, we'd have to check.
We'll have to
We'd
check.
have to
yeah.
check. But that's kind of the minimum. And I'm not doing induction cooking. So what do I need that's more than that? Toaster is actually... We test it with a toaster, and these things are really, really good. They can
They
actually
can
run
maybe
higher
run
than
it,
rated
yeah.
for a little bit. So we will be
But
maxing
we'd
it.
we'd want to make sure we've got enough capacity with reserve, because you never want to run it on capacity.
For a short
But-
period of time.
Yeah,
it's okay.
but I think if we had to, that's the beauty of all this, all
Okay.
CAD drawn up.
Right.
So
Yeah, so I think maybe we'd have to make it a bit longer.
Okay.
Just to fit that in.
Okay.
So if your requirements would be a bigger one, we'll see how we can fit it in.
So we've chosen Victron as a system that we've installed into all the vehicles.
Yeah.
And not because it's the best system or the worst system on the market. It's a great system because it's modular. And also because in South Africa, the support for Victron products is phenomenal. There are other fantastic products in the market around the world which I've used, and I would never knock them. Equally as good. But when you're building a vehicle in a country, you need to look at the support.
Yeah.
And the guys who sell the products, although this is not manufactured in South Africa, the distributor network on support we get is phenomenal.
It's very good. Yeah.
And I think that's what we want, because that's where I lean on people
Yes.
and companies.
Yes.
When there's a problem, I need to go back to the guys and say, hey, we need help. 'Cause
It's
what the
excellent
guys-
stuff.
So-
It is really good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy that we're putting Vectron out.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm
we're
going
really,
to try and get you some batteries
yeah, great.
from Australia. If not,
Just
I'll
check
have
the
to purchase-
size, because
Their standard size of a 110 amp. It's the standard size.
Yeah.
It is.
Or
It
it
is
should
standard.
It should then fit
Yeah.
out.
Except the poles are at the ends, not like that.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, that's just the cable.
But yeah, so nice to be able to show you what has been
Okay.
built
Okay.
to
That's
a very
beautiful.
high standard.
And I think with what is very very valuable for me as a manufacturer is the fact that we have to surveying and actually logging the data of how our customers are using the electrical units. You know, I think we
You haven't-
sometimes maybe go a bit overboard with what we install. We can maybe go a bit smaller or bigger
Yeah.
on some of the units, and it's valuable to see the data that's actually coming back from a trip, how
Yes.
they've used their power,
Yes.
what the batteries maybe
Yes.
died a few times, or it was fully charged full all the time.
And you can go back and see exactly
and we can
why.
see exactly why
something
and
might
how
have
that happened. And I think that's
Yeah.
what's nice about Victron. They interact and work together so nicely that you can gather all that data.
To get this type of quality is really difficult. You know, I think I looked when Skulk and I met. You know, I'm very, very mindful of when you work with someone, you build a relationship. And I have wonderful relationships with some amazing companies who've all done some great vehicles. Skulk's background is from the medical industry and industrial engineering. So, you know, that in itself, you really get a different approach to how you do things. And I think when we sat down and looked at what we can do together and how we build this, it's a question of, can we do it where we don't have to think, will it fit? It's designed, it's measured, it's laser cut, it's powder coated, it's put together. And, you know, Skulk's got a small but amazing team. And Stanley, who one of his guys who works for him, has wired this whole box up. And, you know, impressive to see the quality of work.
It's very nice.
So it's
Very
great.
good. Yeah. Very nice.
To wrap this up, I asked them about the water installation. They will be fitting an Egon water hub, but how are they going to tank the water? This is unique. These tanks actually fit inside the body cavities, and this one fits behind the rear crossmember, giving a total of approximately 100 litres in 3 separate isolated tanks. I'm in my old hometown, and I thought I would show you two of South Africa's largest camping stores. This one is my favorite, Outdoor Warehouse. I'm not allowed to shoot inside. No, I have to send them an email first. I didn't have any camping stoves that interest me. I'm actually here looking for a camp cooker. Yeah, I'm going to struggle a bit. There's another store that's not far from here. They're the ARB agents called Mega World. They're in the area. I'll go and have a look and see what they've got. They didn't have anything that I liked. They had the Kodak brand, but they only had the Kodak brand, and I don't like Kodak. I think that most of their designs, I mean, looking at their designs now, they're just stolen from others, and their own products are, you know, they were designed in the 1930s and they're still selling them. So I don't like Kodak. And well, Outdoor Warehouse, that's it. It's a pity actually, because you guys were quite good to me for many years. You used to stock my books and things. But anyway, let's see what Mega World's got. I'll ask them as well if I may roll camera before I do, because I like to ask first. I won't roll the camera until I get permission. Well, the camera's rolling, which means they gave me permission, but I did bump into an old mate of mine. I've known him for years. Richard, thank you for allowing me to film in your store. Mega World are the agents for Australian brands like Oztend, ARB, and many others. Obviously, ARB Old Man Emu is their main brand. And if I walk through the store here, honestly, it's so similar to the stores in Australia. but I'm here looking for a simple double camp cooker, and I don't want a KDAC. Yeah, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. But they do carry a few interesting things. I think I'll poke around and see if there's something I see that strikes me as more interesting than same old, same old. Now my idea is this with the troop carrier. If I have a ground tent, I use this guy. This is an RV4 ground tent. Incredibly well made. Such a super product. I've had one before, and that's what I would do. That would be my ground tent, no roof tent at all. And this thing takes, they call it the 30-second tent. When I did my initial review, I said that they were lying, that in fact it was the 27-second tent. Very nice. This is the last time I'm driving that Troopy. She's going to be interrupting this. I will try and ignore her, but I have to leave her running because I don't know how to get to where I'm going. The project has been amazing. The project has been fantastic, and I have to compare it with the 2019 105 project, and it's a far better vehicle. No, let me put it this way. It started off as a far better vehicle. We had to do far less work on it. We just had to do basic wear and tear work on it that I expected. No surprises. And in fact, all of the surprises were good. Oh wow, that hasn't worn as much as we thought it might. But now, having driven it several hundred kilometers, good test run, probably about 800 kilometers test run, I have nothing to report apart from a squeaky clutch. No, can you hear it? A little bit of a squeak. That's it. So the guys at Sneemans did an amazing job. Right? They're going to check it out today. They're going to do an inspection of it, make sure it's they like to do with a big job like this. They like to get it back and have a double check, bolt tightening and stuff. And now what? So I've discussed, and hopefully you've watched the videos. If you haven't, they're there, with Paul and Skulk, about the interior fit out and what we're going to do. And I've had a lot more thought about it, and I will now have to trust them to do it as if I was a regular customer, letting my wishes known. My mission must be clear for them, and they're going to build me a camper without a roof conversion, certainly to begin with, without a roof conversion, and hopefully will tick all my boxes. And those boxes are, in a nutshell, a camper that is easy to get ready and get ready for a night's sleep, pack up, must be easy and efficient. It's got to have a charging system for my cameras. It's got to have a kitchen that is reasonably easy to access. One of the challenges with troop carriers is that the reason why they're so good is that the amount of space you got. The reason why they're not very good, access is limited. So you have to correct that. And if you correct, somebody was saying to me the other day, he's got a 76, and he said he hates the troop carrier. Now, this person, I hope he watches the video, this person has never owned a troop carrier, never camped in a troop carrier, he might have built some troop carriers. He's the wrong person to build a troop carrier because, well, he sees no point in them. And this is what he was saying. He sees no point. And he has a 76. And the point is, your name, space. And I said to him, you've got at least twice as much space as you have in a 76. And he went, more than twice, more. Maybe 3 times more space, usable space. He said, all it is a 76 where you climb into the tent from the inside. No, it isn't. It's a longer wheelbase. It frustrated me a little bit because you were throwing the Troopy idea of just not interested in a Troopy. That's what the Troopy is so good for. That's why it's so good as an overlander. To wrap up, Cape Town. South Africa has been fantastic to us. Thank you for all of the people that have helped us out. It's been wonderful traveling through it. It's been nostalgic, but it hasn't been nostalgic in a particularly positive way because the country hasn't got any better since I left it. It's got a lot worse in almost every respect. The prognosis for the power outages and rolling blackouts is that basically, and this is a very simplistic way of looking at it, the government and the friends of the government are basically stealing all the fuel for the power station. Whoever is trying to sort this out is not succeeding. So they need help from overseas. The country is it's a terrible thing to say. It's an awful thing to say. But South Africans, and I have a lot of friends here and a lot of fans here, and thank you guys for your support. I had a great meet and greet. And it was wonderful. And I have my thoughts about it. I look forward to come back. I look forward to traveling here. I don't enjoy traveling on your roads because of the insanity and recklessness and of your driving. And drivers, the standard of driving here is appalling. It's dangerous. It's not just bad, it's dangerous. And I don't enjoy driving on South Africa roads because of that. And it came to me the other day that, Andrew, you've got soft. And what I mean by that is, when you live here and you're part of this world, you have to be a fairly aggressive driver to survive, to get anywhere. You actually have to drive in a certain way. 10 years away, I'm no longer driving that way. So anyway, that's a wrap up. I'm so excited about what Paul's going to do with the vehicle, how it's going to be transformed. The challenge is, of course, it's doing it remotely, but follow along because Paul and I will be having a lot of face-to-face discussions, which we will record and film and put on the channel of our decision-making processes. I've got a cameraman here who's going to help me document, or help Paul with Paul, document the changes, document the build, and document the decisions as they build it. And of course, next April 24, I will arrive in Cape Town, and from Cape Town, we'll take delivery. I'll probably spend a couple of days here tweaking and fiddling like I do in my workshop, those little personal items that we love to do with our four-wheel drives to make them comfortable, to make them ours. I will do that as well. And then we've got a couple of ideas for some trips planned April, May 2020. For all those of you who watched this series, I want to thank you very much for subscribing, and particularly the Patreons. You know who we are. Look after yourself, especially those people in South Africa. You look after yourself. Take care of yourself. See you next time.